Roland Martin did a two-segment portion regarding the black image. Now, I'm staying away from the first segment because that had to do with size. And I, obviously being a black man, am going to stay away from that because being a black man discussing women's sizes is a no-win proposition as far as I'm concerned. But I am going to bring up the segment on colorism. And this has to do with Zoe Saldana taking a part that, in my opinion, she should have turned down, and that's playing the part of Nina Simone. And for multiple reasons, I believe that she should not have been given this part. Number one, she does not claim to be African American. She's heavy on this Afro Latino heritage. Okay, fine. That's one. Number two, her coloration and facial features were nowhere even close to Nina Simone. Number three, Nina Simone was very proud of the fact of her African American heritage, being a dark-skinned woman that was not any type of, to be considered anything near a raging beauty, and she celebrated that. Number four, the family asked the producers of the movie not to cast Zoe Saldana in the role. They wanted a person more akin or closer to the coloration of Nina Simone, not some light-skinned woman who basically in public walks away from African Americans, but when there's a movie role, runs to every African American part that she can find. So anyway, let me play the clip, and you'll hear the arguments back and forth. But again, I'm on the Zoe Saldana should not have been given that role, and if she had any self-respect and wasn't just out there on a to make a paycheck, she should not have even gone for that role. She's just totally wrong for that role.
Conversation. We started this off talking about the Ebony magazine cover, dealing with the physical shape of black women and how that creates sort of this very visceral reaction, many praising, some complaining about the cover, but you still have a raging debate taking place in social media as it relates to colorism, and all tied around Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone in an upcoming movie. You have Nina Simone's daughter who is defending Zoe Saldana, but also blasting the folks who made the casting decisions. You also have the Nina Simone estate who is ripping her, literally saying, don't even mention Nina Simone out of your mouth, Zoe Saldana. It is stunning to have all of this going back and forth, and I'm going to come back with my panel also. I will have, of course, Kiana Mayo, of course, the editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine, and we have Dr. Jeffrey Ann Wilder, the author of the book Color Stories, Black Women and Colorism in the 21st Century. Dr. Wilder, I got to start with you here, because this is an amazing discussion that is going back and forth, because I've had people pulling up other movies where Forrest Whitaker changed his appearance to play Idi Amin, and he won an Academy Award for that portrayal. What do you make of this raging debate among black folks around color?
Well, unfortunately, I have to side with many of everybody out there. I don't necessarily think that Zoe Saldana is believable in her role as Nina Simone for a large number of reasons. I saw the trailer, and it just, was not believable. There's something about, I guess, just the way she looks and appears in the film that just is something off about it. And I think that, a lot of folks are talking about this was really a missed opportunity to really highlight talent of a lot of darker skinned actresses who also have, musical talent. And I think we missed the mark here. And of course, the backlash really is reflective of colorism, because what does it say about our society when we really don't value enough or looking at dark skin, and we have to cast someone who is a brown skin or a lighter skinned woman in this role, when clearly it should have gone, in my opinion, to someone who is a more darker complected actress, or could have looked more like Nina Simone.
But here's the issue, Kiana, and I want to bring you in on this here. First of all, there are reports that Mary J. Blige was supposed to play the role, but she had to drop out because of other commitments. But there's also
that would have been great
issue here, Karen, that if you could speak to, and that is when you're making decisions about how to finance films, a huge part of that is
who's attached.
Who's attached to it. And so it's one of those deals where, look, very few black women have actually had leading roles in films. Paula Patton was a lead in a film. Zoe Saldana was a lead in Colombiana. And so what a lot of people are saying, well, some people say we should have cast an unknown. That's not as simple as people are making it out to be when we're talking about millions of dollars in films. Go ahead.
Yes, so there are multiple realities. What you just spoke to is absolutely the truth. That is the Hollywood standard. Typically speaking, if you want to really get a film to theaters, you need to have a very marquee name attached to it. That said, that doesn't change the reality of African Americans, black people in general, who are looking for authentic representation. And I think the sensitivity here, I didn't hear the earlier speaker, but the sensitivity here is particular to Nina Simone, who herself so embodied racial pride, who herself so did not fit the Hollywood package image that we all have grown so accustomed to, that we can spit off the names Paula Patton and we can spit off the name Zoe Saldana with ease, but we cannot find their darker skinned peers.
Right. See, and my problem with that is this: if excuse me, the movie was done, done really, really well, this could have created a star. Okay, this could have created a star instead of the producers out there searching for a star. This movie could have jump-started somebody's career.
So our panel here, is that Zoe Saldana's fault?
It's not Zoe Saldana's fault, and I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, is that we cannot name, it still goes back to colorism because of casting, and we need to have someone attached to this film who can show up on the red carpet and do all these things, and it's also because she has been allowed those a part of her stardom is just the reality of that is the color of her skin. The fact that she can now, throughout her career, deny Afro-Latina, being an Afro-Latina, or not really like ownership to that, but then own it when she goes for a role to play a black woman. I think this is a grander conversation of the erasure of dark-skinned black women.
Okay, but I gotta raise this here because I've read stories where she's talked about being Afro-Latina, but here's what I've also gotten. I've gotten people who have criticized her because, she's only had white men in movies. Well, when she was in Drumline and Nick Cannon is black, she was in Takers and had Michael Ealy was her boyfriend as well. But it's very interesting how, again, when you start hearing the criticism, so she's being attacked because of who she's starring against, as opposed to, wait a minute, this is about just her in this role. Other stuff is coming into play.
No, you're making the issue simplistic, and it's not. My issue isn't with Zoe. My issue is with the fact that Nina Simone embodied her blackness, she wasn't a traditional beauty. So this isn't about color. This is about a woman whose art was informed by the struggle she had as a black woman.
But actually, it is about color, though.
No, it isn't.
It is about color.
No, it is.
Nina Simone grew up as a poor, dark-skinned black woman in the South. That totally influences her art.
She grew up as an unattractive black woman who didn't perm her hair. It is about a much greater issue than just color. And what I'm saying is, it's not that Zoe couldn't play the role of a darker-skinned woman, but not this woman. Because this woman, if you don't get the connection between Nina Simone and blackness.
But here's hold on a second. I want Dr. Wilder here, because Dr. Wilder, here's the deal. I get all of that, but here's the piece. This movie was already be difficult trying to get made. Right. You have the possibility that there would never be a movie about Nina Simone. Right. So it's.
But you know something, sometimes for the greater good, sometimes some movies shouldn't be made until the time is right and the personnel is right. And you can't just jump out there, well, we got to do this, we got to do this. No, that's bullshit. Sometimes you got to wait. Sometimes you do actually have to wait. And Roland's not getting that.
So what is it? Is it Dr. Wilder? Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, let me point out that Jennifer Lopez killed Selena, and when she played the role of Selena, no one really knew who she was unless you watched In Living Color. So I think there was an opportunity to present someone who was a relatively unknown person and elevate them into the spotlight.
Exactly.
Zoe Saldana would never have been cast as Selena, even though she's also Latina as well. So I do think it is very much about color. It's not Zoe's fault, but I think we really need to recognize that it's about color. It's about a wide range of things. And for me, Zoe Saldana's sort of personal politics, you know, she talks about there's no such thing as people of color. For me, there's a misalignment. And so for me, that's the hard part for me is recognizing that she personally does not necessarily, with the other folks we're talking about, embody so much of what Nina Simone talked about.
All right, then again, unfortunately, I'm absolutely out of time. I told y'all.
Yeah, see, so I guess he finally got it. But yeah, Zoe Saldana, she should not have been given that role. And it's basically just disrespecting Nina Simone, disrespecting the family, and disrespecting dark-skinned black women who may have been more, not may have been, would have been more suited to the role. And again, an unknown in here with this movie being done properly could have blown up. And now what may happen is you may have the black community that's going to boycott the movie just because of Zoe Saldana. Now, I don't know how probable that is, but it is a possibility.